In this video, I'm going to share with you one of the simplest indicators that any beginner trader can understand and figure out. I'll show you all the entry points and all the platform settings. Basically, after this video, you'll be able to double or even triple your deposit, all in just one video. By the way, the goal of this video is to increase my deposit from $3,000 to about $5,000, maybe even $6,000. I'll be trading pretty aggressively, so let's see how easy or, on the contrary, how hard it will be for me to reach this goal. Like I said, any beginner trader can handle this indicator. If you don't have any experience yet, if you want to start making money in trading, or even just understand what trading is, then this indicator is perfect for you. But for now, let's watch this trade. Yes, I'll also show all the entry points and which situations you should avoid in this video. Great, the first trade brings me $710. Look, to add this indicator, we go to the Indicators tab and click on Alligator. As you can see, it has slightly different settings, and we'll need to adjust it a bit, but we'll get to the settings in a moment. There are only two situations for how we use this indicator. We have what's called an open mouth. This means that the alligator's mouth is open right now, so we open by trades. In other words, we have an upward movement. Accordingly, the green line is on top, and the blue one is at the bottom. This means the mouth is open, and that we should open sell trades. The second situation is when the mouth is closed. Accordingly, we have a downward movement. We can observe this. The green line is at the bottom, and the blue line is on top. So, we open sell trades. When we see a situation where the indicator lines are crossing and there's some chaos on the chart, we just skip it. So, we don't use situations like these. Here, we can see a great example. We don't trade when the indicator is crossing this much. In other cases, when we see a good downward movement, we can open our trades here. So, these are two good segments. Here, we can work and open our sell trades. Let's look at another example and talk about which entry points are worth using. For example, here's a currency pair, Euro to British Pound. What can we observe here? Right now, the alligator's mouth is closed. The green line is below, and the blue line is above. So, this is a sell entry point. Where do we open our trade from? We open our trade between the green and orange lines. That is, within this range. Accordingly, we can see from the history that every touch gave us a reaction. And even here, in such a small segment, we've already had 3 touches. So, how does this work? For example, we have a strong downward movement, and at some point the market goes into a slight correction. This indicator shows us exactly that, and accordingly, we can open a trade in the direction of the trend. So, this is a trend indicator that we use after a correction. You can learn to work with this indicator, and even without it, it will teach you how to use corrections during a trending movement. It's a very useful tool, but it's especially suitable for beginners. So, this indicator specifically shows the trend. Look, here's another example. Here we have a downward movement. Here we have the first correction, the price enters the alligator. Then the second correction, again the price enters the alligator. Third correction, fourth, fifth, and here was the 6th touch. So, 6 touches in such a short period. Accordingly, we have the main movement, then a correction, main movement, correction, main movement, correction, main movement, another correction, and so on. So, as I said, this indicator can actually teach you to trade with the trend even without that very indicator. So, we always use entry points in both cases between the green and orange lines, whether it's for selling or buying. If the price at the moment drops below to the blue line, for example, we can also open a trade, but it won't be as safe as in the upper zone. By the way, I'll share the settings for this indicator in our Telegram channel. So go to our Telegram channel and grab all the settings for this indicator from there. We specifically developed them for the 1-minute market per trade, and accordingly, you can easily copy them, apply them to your own trading, and double or even triple your deposit. So, get the settings in our Telegram channel via the link in the description or the link in the pinned comment. But let's move on. Here's an example of a rather risky trade. As I mentioned earlier, the alligator's mouth is open right now. That is, the green line is on top. Accordingly, the price is going up. The price came in, broke through with an impulse to the upper line, but bounced off the lower line. So here, as you can see, with high volume, we're working between these 2 lines. And, accordingly, I open my buy trade. There's nothing complicated here if you choose a good movement. What does this mean? If the movement is clean, for example, like here, that is, the channel goes like this, and not with some weird lines crossing each other. If that's the case, then we don't trade here. But when we have a very clean movement, like here or here, then we open our trades. The statistics for this indicator are about 70% profitable trades. If you choose clean movements, if you refine your entry points, then you can even get 80 or even 90% winning trades. By the way, look, even a risky situation brings me $840. I already have $5,500 in my balance. Let's move on and talk about the next situations. When you're going through all the currency pairs, never rush. Always choose the pairs that have a good upward or downward movement. In other words, you should skip situations like these in the market. We pick a good movement if the price has already broken through the alligator. Then again, don't rush to enter the trade. We choose a genuine movement, and when the price enters the alligator, you can open a trade right away from the touch of the green line. Or you can open a trade from the middle. That will also be safe. But I still recommend you wait until the price enters roughly this area. That is, the middle between the green and orange lines. This will be the safest and best entry point. By the way, I forgot to mention that we will be working with regular Japanese candlesticks on 15-second intervals and also using 1 minute per trade. Let's try to open our trade for 1 minute right from here. Yes, the payout here isn't very high, but the situation is still quite safe. So, we can look at the history and see that there were 2 entry points here, and I happened to catch the third one for such a short, good movement. Let's watch this trade. Unfortunately, there was an impulse here, and as a result, the trade closed at a loss. That happens. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'll just cover my loss with the next trade for $1,500. Currency pair, British pound, Swiss franc. What's happening here? We have a nice downward movement going on. We can see that the mouth is closed. The blue line is on top. The green one is below. The price enters this area, and from here I open a sell trade. You need to understand that, just like in the previous trade, this can happen, and you have to be prepared for it. That's why I don't recommend taking big risks and entering trades with 50%, or even more so with 70 or even 90%. An excellent trade brings me $1,200, and with it, I cover my loss. As you can see, I already have $5,800 in my balance, all thanks to a single indicator. So, I've made almost 100% profit in this video. Once again, if you want to earn just like I do with this indicator, then follow the link in the description to our Telegram channel and grab all the ready-made settings from there. My team and I spent a long time fine-tuning it specifically for these settings, for this exact trade timing. So, you'll be able to earn safely and work safely with it. I'm sure that every beginner will be able to do it. If you have any questions, just write to our support account. I'll also leave the link in the description and in the pinned comment. With that, I'll say goodbye for now. See you soon.